is right. Psalm 50. The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. And I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee. But the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, and thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutations to hopeful elect out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scripture through faith in Yahweh by Shema Shai. All right, just going to another World War III update. As things, continue to escalate. All right, in their region of the earth, over there, what they call the Middle East. All right, mainly in the land of Israel. Okay, which is highly prophetic. There's that land. Okay, which we know plays a major part end time prophecy. So we'll continue watching these things, and we're seeing these things unfold. And it's a buildup. And we understand that you know the war not gonna get nuclear. This weekend, okay? But we can start seeing major skirmishes. Major military strikes. Okay, effects. In the supply chain. Okay, effects in the oil prices. Like it's a lot of things. That can happen here shortly. Before the war just spirals out of control and goes nuclear. There's gonna be there's other things that have to happen. Okay, so when you go here, hold on, see, yep. So let's go here. Let's start out with these two precepts, and I got a few videos to go into. Okay, and it just more war. Okay, all we're doing is seeing this situation continue to escalate. And I say the main thing was you know, and it's pretty much what everything is hinging on for this thing to go to the next phase. So that's the main thing we're watching for. All right, so we're watching for these things, and we'll see. All right, um, so let's get these two precepts first. All right, then we'll go into straight to the videos. Now this is the book of Salaki, Ecclesiastes. Okay, Ecclesiastes, verse 3 and 1. Chapter 3, verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the sun. Okay, and we have to understand that certain prophecies that we read about, have already happened. Okay, there's some, all right, that have been fulfilled recently. Some being fulfilled as we speak, and then there's some that are yet to come. Because every prophecy has its due season. Okay, for a particular purpose. All right, under the heaven, which is in the earth. So right now we're in the time. Okay, we're in the season. It says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. All right, and now we know that we're in the time of hate and war. Okay, World War III is one of the most trending topics in the earth. Okay, people are googling. Mostly probably women. All right, am I going to get drafted? What's the chance of me getting drafted? Okay, because they see that these things are not slowing down. Because that's the time we're in. All right, and there's plenty of prophecy dealing with this war. There's plenty of prophecy dealing with people. The love of many shall wax cold. Okay, just like the brother said, we in the time now. That's why we was given this grace period to draw closer to our power. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 12:1. It said, "Remember now, thy Creator is the brother Gershon 72, in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, Lord, the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." Okay? Because a lot of people, as long as things are up and going and good, they have no concern about prophecy. They don't care about, a higher power. This society is built, of pretty much built on self worship, and do as thou wilt. But it's only when their day to day starts to get interrupted, when people, try to seek a higher power or seek some understanding of the times we're in. But for the masses of the people, it's going to be too late. Okay? Now, and that's why it's good that we're here now getting it in this grace period, man, so we can have a legit relationship with Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Now, I want to play a few videos because what's happening, they're speaking of government officials, being moved to the bunk. You have a lot of military, hardware is being moved over there in the region, in the Mediterranean. Okay, we're gonna get into all these things, but I want to play this first. Now, this from the brother. Um, I'm a one to buy it. All right, subscribe to the channel. I think brother got like 3 channels. This is from GMS Virginia North 777. Subscribe and be continually, edified. All right, and updated. So I'm gonna play this first. Then we'll cross reference with another video, and then just speaking of different activity, that's happening as war tensions mount in their region. You know, let's play this. Play a few minutes of this, and then we'll cross reference with another one.
Emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 2:23 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I have some very concerning information to share with you. So we currently have 2 nuclear bombers airborne over the United States, and we also have a presidential doomsday plane with its flight tracker turned off flying over the Midwest, and we also have a nuclear war command and control plane airborne as well. So this is very, very concerning, guys. And last night, we also had a presidential doomsday plane flying with its tracker off. So 2 days in a row, presidential doomsday planes flying over the Midwest with aerial refuelers and turning their trackers off. And today we have 2 B-52s airborne at the same time as the presidential doomsday plane. And I also have some photos I want to share with you of a B-2 stealth bomber that was spotted over southern New York State today, which is extremely rare. So this is huge, guys. We're living in unprecedented times, and Putin yesterday signed a decree revoking the ratification of the nuclear test ban treaty, meaning that Russia is now going to start testing nuclear weapons in the atmosphere and underwater. So things are really escalating, guys. Okay, we have 2 Iranian missile ships in the Red Sea, which is where we also have a Marine Expeditionary Unit and 2 amphibious assault ships. And we also have 3 Israeli missile ships in the same sea as well, in the Red Sea. So we got 2 Iranian missile ships, 3. This is from today, just about 2 or 3 hours ago, around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. 2 B-52s in the air. 1 was flying over Arkansas. 1 flew from Minot, and it was over Nebraska at the same time as the Doomsday plane was over Western Illinois. And then a nuclear war command and control plane was off the coast of New England here. And here's a closer shot of the Doomsday plane. You can see that it met an aerial refueler in Western Illinois and potentially got refueled. And then shortly after, it disappeared from the flight tracker. Okay, so here you can see the Doomsday plane disappears, but the aerial refueler continues going. So this is very rare, guys. It's very rare for a presidential Doomsday plane to do this. And they actually did this 2 days in a row now, because last night they did the same thing. A Doomsday plane took off from Offutt Air Base, and it met 2 aerial refuelers over northwestern Missouri. And then shortly after meeting the aerial refuelers, it disappeared from the flight tracker. So here you can see the 2 aerial refuelers, and the Doomsday plane disappeared. This was last night. Here you can see the 3 of them together. So very concerning, guys. We also have another U.S. military VIP plane going from D.C. to Colorado Springs, and this was at the same time as the B-52s were airborne this morning, 11:30-ish a.m. Eastern Time, and the Doomsday plane. Okay, so something's going on, guys. Okay, 2 nuclear bombers, Doomsday plane with transponder off, and a military VIP plane going to Colorado Springs, which is where, guess what, Cheyenne Mountain is located. Okay, and here we have a picture of the B-52 that was flying over southern New York. Check that out, guys. You can't mistake that V shape, okay? Here's another picture that was sent to me by a subscriber from Kingston, New York. All right, and from what I'm hearing is that this B-2 was basically just loitering over the Hudson Valley. It didn't have a discernible direction. It was seen in multiple areas. It wasn't heading in one particular direction, like north to south or something. It was kind of just loitering around. So this is very, very concerning, guys. And then the last 2 days, we had um, intense surveillance of the Baltic region of Europe. So, like I said, guys, Putin revoked the ratification of the nuclear test ban treaty. And yesterday, the U.S. House of Representatives basically voted to declare war on Iran. So, all these things are lining up. It's very concerning. Tomorrow, the leader of Hamas is going to give a speech and make some kind of an announcement. So, all the stars are aligning now, guys. It looks like tomorrow or potentially this weekend, all hell could break loose and we could see World War III and nuclear war break out. I have an emergency alert to share with you guys.
Shalom.
Like I said, was he speaking of, nuclear war this weekend? Well, we know a lot of other things have to happen, and things are happening. All right, before the war goes nuclear. Okay, the CHIP has to be made mandated. All right, in Jacob's trouble. Okay, before this war goes nuclear. But we could see this war, go conventional, and these nations, do particular precision strikes on each other. Okay, just because right now it's a war of words. You have people, you have nations saying something, but then they're putting military hardware in place. You know, we're gonna get into it. All right, but just to update that as well, because the end of all things is at hand. All right, the end of all things is at hand, as it says in 1 Peter 4:7. So I think I think Elder Yashawama just put that video up. Okay, and hopefully we just read the thumbnail on it. Let's see, because pretty much you got the WHO. Okay, the WHO pretty much pushing for a global digital ID. Let's see if it thought it was on the thumbnail. Yeah, here you go. So just real quick, just to put it on the screen. Because there's a war build up, and the CHIP is building up as well. All right, so you see that UN says, all right, Gil Bates, all right, that guy said digital IDs will be mandatory to participate in society. All right, and what do you think that digital ID is going to consist of? What device? All right, is going to be used for a digital ID. All right, the same device prophesied for buying and selling the CHIP. Okay, so everything is building up. Prophecy is on deck. Prophecy has taken over these last few months in the year. And it has been the theme of these months. All right. So real quick, just to go into some precepts real quick. Jeremiah 52, Jeremiah 50 and verse 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Okay. This is what we're seeing. War drums. Okay. And we're seeing all the hardware, all the military hardware being brought out and being tested. That's going to bring great destruction. Nuclear this and nuclear that, nuclear bombers, nuclear submarines, nuclear Navy vessels, nuclear, they got all underwater shooting nukes. You see? It is all prophecy. How was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Because America is going to get the worst of this third world war. All right, America and the inhabitants of America outside of the elect, all right, because the elect are going to be delivered out of America. So America and its inhabitants are going to get the worst of this war. Okay, and America is used to America being at war with everyone in the earth, and the American day to day is not hindered. Okay, niggas still having Super Bowl. You know, when has America missed the Super Bowl? But America's been in wars. All right, 90% of the time it was in power or more. Okay, but America haven't missed no Super Bowl, no NBA Finals. Everything been going. You know, it's playing. Okay, we ain't stop. You know, America just enjoying their day-to-day life. But see, in this war, America is gonna get obliterated, and Americans, all right, the inhabitants, all right, and it says, verse 24, it says, um, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And see, America is being snared into his own destruction by getting in this war. Because America, their mindset is they're going to go and defend, all right, the wickedness that those small hats are doing over there. You know, in their mind, this is just another day at the office. But nah, they're being snared into World War III, which is going to be their destruction, their absolute annihilation. Okay? And they're being dragged into this trap. All right? As we'll see them constantly trickling in, you know, troops, okay, and military hardware in their region. This is the this is a snare that the Lord has laid for them, man. Okay, verse 25, it said, the Lord have opened his armory. Yeah, so you got Russia testing missiles all on the ground, all on the water. Okay, that's the Lord's armory. The Lord gave these devils the wisdom to come up with this weaponry. All right, these nukes and these hypersonic, you know, projectiles to carry these nuclear warheads, these PGM, these precision guided munitions. Okay, for accuracy. The Lord gave these devils this technology because this is the Lord's weaponry for his judgment, man. All right, and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, his anger. And that's why these weapons are so powerful, because they're inspired by the Lord's anger. Okay, for this is the work of the Lord of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans, which is America. All right, and Chaldeans were the ancient warlocks of Babylon, the ancient warlocks and magi's and okay, witches of you know, left hand priests of the Neo Babylonian Empire, which today they're the elites. Okay, so this is what we see being prepped up. You know, this Isaiah 9:5 said, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, so this is going to be a warfare that the earth has never seen. Even with the conventional weapons, you know, missiles and, you know, weaponry that they got. Okay, this is going to be on a whole another level, all the way into it turns nuclear, man. Okay, so let's get this video here. You know, it kind of cross reference what we were saying. Look at this. All right, so let's get this, and they're gonna go into it as well and see what we're seeing is the world. Everybody's not going with their narrative of those small hats being the victim. Okay, the world is the Lord. All right, has the devil out there, man. You know, to where he can't just be the victim. Like, nah, you can't be the victim and you're the one on the offensive. Okay, doing wickedness, man. All right, you're the one doing the deletions, man. Okay. So that narrative of them being a victim is running out, and the devil has nothing to do but come down with the sword. That's all he has left, to just come down with the sword, because that narrative, that victim narrative is played out. All right. So let's play this, and then he's gonna also speak about, some things from the first video we watched, just to show you, because you start research, you want to try to cross-reference, things before you bring it out, and you start hearing, things start getting repetitive, it's a good chance there's some truth to it, man, but we're just watching these things as they unfold.
This is True News, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us God. I'm Rick Wiles. Today is Monday, November 6, 2023. The U.S. Department of Defense has positioned near Israel an American submarine capable of firing nuclear-armed missiles. The Pentagon announcement came shortly after a high-level Iranian official threatened to strike the USA if no ceasefire agreement is implemented in the war between Hamas and Israel. Doc Burkhardt and I have the latest updates on the worsening situation with World War III.
And we truly are in World War III, aren't we, Rick?
I don't know how to emphasize it any more than we have, Doc. It is spiraling out of control, and each day when you think maybe the situation is calming down, something else will happen, and that's what we have here. I want you to look at the first several articles that we're going to present to you. Hindustan Times. I searched a lot of places to find this article today because I saw it over the weekend. It originally was the New York Times, and but all the other newspaper articles that were online about this story seem to have disappeared. So the article says, if Hezbollah attacks Israel, the United States is prepared to intervene militarily. Folks, I want you to read this one more time.
Yes.
If Hezbollah in Lebanon attacks Israel, the United States of America is prepared to enter the war. This was published by the New York Times over the weekend. And it appears, Doc, that maybe they have scrubbed the internet. I did not go directly to the New York Times and search. I looked quickly at the front pages of the Times. It's not there. But I did a search under these search terms, and nothing came up except this article out of India, the Hindustan Times. But I know I read it over the weekend, and I finally found the story.
And the Hindustan Times quotes the New York Times in it as well. So the U.S. has warned Iran and Hezbollah that it would be prepared to intervene militarily against them if they launched an attack against Israel, as the headline says. The New York Times reported this, citing officials within the administration. This comes after Hezbollah chief Nasser Nasrallah, in his first ever speech after the start of the Israel-Hamas war, taunted Israel and the U.S. on Friday and said the Iran-backed militant group is not afraid of U.S. warships. He also warned that Hezbollah's forces were ready for anything. And so, once again, we see this ratcheting up of the rhetoric on different sides.
Well,
here.
the second article here, this is Reuters.
So America, has been sending warships over there, in hopes of intimidation. Okay? But it is not working. The nations are not deterred. All right? Because the Lord has it in their mind to take a stance. Okay? These nations will take a stance, all right, against Esau, man. Okay? Mainly these small hats and America. Okay? And Hezbollah, is rumored, that they had missiles capable, that they had missiles that America didn't even have, capable of sinking, those American warships. Okay? So all this is at play. whenever they invade Gaza, they do a ground invasion on Gaza, like we can see, some major events. You know, it could be, partial bluffs. It could be, just a lot of smoke blown. Or it could be, we finna see, hey, this thing go to the next phase. You know, and casualties, start drastically increasing. So we're just watching these things, and we'll see, because everything hinging on that ground invasion. But I'm gonna let this play some more. Well, let me post this real quick. Well, all prophecy is speaking. Everything that all the major news can be explained through prophecies, man. Okay. Let's get these two here. Okay, because these nations, all right, these nations have, hold on, these nations over these last few decades have pretty much based their military around beating the American military. So when we see these militaries, like they whole strategy is against America, all right, the Air Force and the Navy. Okay. So this Joel 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw nigh, let them come up. Okay? So there's a warrior spirit over there in the earth, over there in that part of the earth, man. And these nations are in the spirit of mighty men. Okay, it says beat verse 10, beat your plowshares. Okay, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Okay, and that's why Hezbollah is saying, look, we're not worried about those warships. Okay, now those warships are capable of doing a lot of damage. All right, but it's not going to be a walk in the park over there. And prophecy has it for these devils to lose. Okay, so yeah, these prophecies are just speaking, man. The spirit of prophecy is heavy in the earth. Okay.
Iran says the U.S. will be hit hard if there is no ceasefire in Gaza. And just a short quote from the Reuters article: Iran said the United States would be hit hard if Washington did not implement a ceasefire in Gaza. The country's minister of defense was quoted as saying, it was quoted in a Iranian news agency. This is the quote of Mohammad Reza Ashatani. Again, the minister of defense, quote, our advice to the Americans is to immediately stop the war in Gaza and implement a ceasefire. Otherwise, they will be hit hard.
Now, the article, Rick, seems to imply Iran is threatening U.S. soil.
That's the way I'm taking it.
Right. Not U.S. forces in the Middle East, but something happening on American soil.
Yes. Last week, it was either this same official or the Iranian minister of foreign affairs. I forget which one. He said the fire would not, America would not be spared from the fire. Doesn't that sound like?
Yes, like it's coming home.
A direct threat to the homeland of the United States of America. And remember, Doc, within the past 2 weeks, gosh, time is going so fast. It's hard for me to remember the dates now, but it's only been a week or so ago that the Iranian foreign minister or the embassy in the Iranian embassy in Syria posted a real ominous, cryptic tweet on its Twitter account, saying that Israel was running out of time. And remember, they also said something like goodbye.
Yes.
Time to say goodbye.
Or time is up.
Time is up. Time is up. And there was another one about the same time saying that Iran could strike at any moment. Oh, he said that the decision had been made.
Yes, I remember that as well.
The decision had been made and the strike could come at any moment. Is it blustery big talk? Or are these threats real?
Well, of all the players in the Middle East that you should be definitely concerned about, it would definitely be Iran. I'm of your opinion, Rick, that they already have nukes. They've got them. So
the third article, which should get our attention, this is a CNN. In a rare announcement, the U.S. says guided missile sub has arrived in the Middle East, a message of deterrence to adversaries.
Right. So U.S. Central Command said on social media Sunday that an Ohio-class submarine was entering its area of responsibility. A picture was posted with the announcement and it appeared to show the sub in the Suez Canal north of Cairo.
Now, Iran, has stated that America won't be spared, from the fire. Okay. And we could see, before America is nuked, because we know the end game for America. All right. We could, there could be, sleeper cells in America. All right. Whether it's a false flag event or, actual attack. Okay. A missile or two, could go off. We don't know. Okay. But we know that ultimately America is for sure not going to be spared from their complete nuclear annihilation. Okay. So you get Isaiah 47:1 says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." So America is finna go through a great demotion in the earth. Okay, sit in the dust in confusion. Okay, come down to the dust, a demotion in the earth. All right, America is finna be removed from their superpower, the superpower status, okay, and be destroyed. Okay, the American reign has reached its end. And we're just seeing the build up to it. All right, let's go back to it.
The social media post did not name the sub, but the U.S. Navy has 4 Ohio-class guided missile submarines, or SSGNs, which are former ballistic missile subs converted to fire Tomahawk cruise missiles rather than nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles. So each SSGN can carry 154 Tomahawks, 50% more than U.S. guided missile destroyers pack, and almost 4 times what the U.S. Navy's newest attack subs are armed with. Each single Tomahawk missile, Rick, can carry up to a 1,000-pound high explosive warhead.
Doc, I follow the U.S. Central Command on Twitter. Rarely do you see them tweet a message saying, "Heads up, everybody. We just put a submarine in close proximity to a war zone."
Right.
That seldom happens. You usually don't see the Pentagon revealing their hand. But in this case, they wanted to reveal their hand. And it's a big hand. We don't know if this particular sub is Ohio class. We don't know if it's armed with conventional missiles, cruise missiles,
or nuclear
missiles. We don't know. And they're not going to tell us, obviously.
Right. And Iran doesn't know either. That's
the point. They don't want Iran to know. They just want Iran to think about it. But either way, conventional or nuclear, that submarine can do serious damage to Iran. So look at the 3 things that we just showed you starting out here on Monday. If Hezbollah attacks Israel, the U.S. is prepared to enter the war. Number one. Number two, Iran's defense minister says if the United States does not negotiate a ceasefire in the Gaza war, the U.S. will be hit hard. Number three, the Pentagon publicly announced that it had moved an Ohio-class submarine into the waters off the coast of Israel, a submarine that potentially could be armed with nuclear missiles. Doc, these are ominous signs. And then they add a fourth one. It's Moscow Times. Russia test fires nuclear-capable ballistic missile.
Right. This is the new Bulava missile, the first in just over a year as this test firing takes place, comes as Russia is ramping up its nuclear rhetoric since revoking its ratification of a key nuclear test ban treaty. The defense ministry said the new nuclear-powered strategic missile submarine cruiser Emperor Alexander III has successfully launched the Bulava sea-based intercontinental ballistic missile. It said it fired the undersea missile from an undisclosed location in the White Sea on its northwest coast to a target thousands of kilometers away on the far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula. The missile firing took place in the normal mode from an underwater position. The missile heads arrived at the designated area at the appointed time. Now, this new 12-meter-long Bulava missile was designed to be the backbone of Moscow's nuclear triad and has a range over 5,000 miles. And so they can virtually strike from anywhere in the world, Rick.
No.
All right. So you see Russia is doing what? The Lord has opened up his armor. All right. And the scriptures describe, all right, how these arrows will be. You know, and they say you can pull up from anywhere. Okay? Russia can just pull up and let off from anywhere. Okay? Ain't nothing out of range. All right, and them submarines hard to detect. You know, the brother I'm want to buy went into it how, you know, it's hard to detect those submarines because of, you know, you underwater. You know, you got those different ridge lines. Okay, the way, you know, the layout, you know, is under the ocean. You know, it's hard to, you know, for the technology to work, you know, accurately at times. Okay, so you let a nuclear sub get up on you undetected, you're done. Okay, so reading here, this is Jeremiah 50:9. It said, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken." Okay, and that assembly of nation begins with Russia. Okay, it was in that north country. Okay, and the assembly of great nations, you have China, all right, Iran, Turkey, okay, North Korea, all right, they're all going to be part of the assembly of nations, all right, that's going to do, it's going to go to work on them Israelis and, all right, America, okay, and it says, "From thence shall she be taken, her arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain." Okay, and Russia said, look, they were hitting targets from 5,000 miles away. That's a mighty expert man. Okay, 5,000 miles away. That's crazy accuracy, man. Okay, GMS Living Waters by Habakkuk 2 and 3. "For the vision yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." And what made me think of this precept is that Russia said those nukes that they was testing, you know, from 5,000 miles out, you know, he said, and they arrived there at the appointed time. He said they arrived there at the appointed time. That the Lord got this thing mapped out, man. You know, it's just a thing of patience on our end, man. Continuing away in patience. Okay, but the Lord got this thing mapped out to the T. All right.
Think about this. This submarine can be 5,000 miles away from the U.S. coast and hit American cities.
Right.
But the Russians wanted us to know. Just in case you're not paying attention, here, take a look at this.
We still have nukes.
And these are brand new nukes, and they're ready to be put into use in a war. Benjamin Herod, I call him Herod Netanyahu the Great, bombed more refugee camps over the weekend. He wasn't satisfied with all the children he murdered last week, so on Sunday, the Lord's Day, he decided to bomb more refugee centers and kill more children. Here's a PBS. Warplanes strike Gaza refugee camps, not just one,
right.
Multiple camps. As Israel rebuffs the U.S. push for humanitarian pause.
That was the big project that
Anthony Blinken
was involved with, trying to, they weren't calling a ceasefire. They went out of their way to say it's not a ceasefire, just a pause so we can get humanitarian aid in there.
And Netanyahu told him no. So they, just to prove their point, they bombed several refugee camps. Folks, why are there refugee camps in Gaza? Here's why. Because going back to the 1948 Zionist takeover of Palestine, millions of Palestinians either fled Palestine, several million went to Jordan over a number of years. They lost their homes as the Zionists took their homes and farms, olive groves, and seized their property and settled in what formerly was Palestinian real estate. And others were placed in refugee camps. And they became, well, these are concentration camps.
Right.
And they're ruled by the Jews. Kind of like Indian reservations.
Right.
It's what we did to the American Indians. And then we built homes on their land. That may not go down well with people, but look, this is what Europeans have done for a long, long time. And the Ashkenazim are Europeans. They are European colonizers using religion, the religion of Judaism, to justify colonization of Palestine. They're not native-born Palestinian people. They are Europeans. And they have displaced millions of indigenous Palestinian Arabs, took their land, and then couldn't figure out what to do with all these people, put them in refugee camps, and they've been locked up there ever since. You have people who were children in 1948 who are still there now, and they're in their 70s and 80s, and they're still in the same refugee camp.
Right.
They've had children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
That's right.
And they're all in the refugee camps. So Herod Netanyahu the Great ordered the IDF to bomb several refugee camps over the weekend. The initial stories I read, Doc, it was
So yeah, that victim narrative, that those Israelis, those small hats have been pushing is not holding weight anymore. Okay, they're not holding weight. And he said, what? That was a Zionist takeover. Okay, it wasn't the fulfillment of prophecy of the true people coming to their land. We go into those things. It was a Zionist takeover, man. Okay, Habakkuk 2:16 said, "Thou art filled with shame for glory." Okay, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Okay, and now Esau's true legacy It's dead of a wicked colonizer, man. Okay, of a wicked satanic colonizer, man. Okay, that's his legacy. That legacy that he was trying to create of him being this great savior, you know, this great humanitarian. Okay, the standard of moral excellence in the earth. Like, nah. Okay, now his shameful acts, what he's doing now, what he did and what he planned on doing is now being brought to the forefront, man. Okay, and everyone's complaining about this devil, man. All right, I'm gonna let a little more play.
Was so heartbreaking because the eyewitnesses said that there were shredded pieces of children's bodies, shredded pieces, strewn over the crater.
Well, that's what war's about, Rick.
That's what they say. That's what
civilians die.
That's what Sean Hannity and Lindsey Graham and all these other right-wing news talkers. That's what they say.
Yeah,
it's just the price of war.
Yeah,
it's the way it is.
Just grind those kids up.
Grind them up. So the children were sleeping. This attack happened at night. They died in their beds. You know, someday I really believe that there's going to be a Palestinian nation, and those children should go down in history as Palestinian patriots who died for their country.
All right, I got one more I want to play. You know, because there's rumors, you know, that there's 48 hours. You know, in 48 hours they supposed to invade. The Gaza, you know, with ground forces. You know, so we'll play a little bit of this one, and we'll wrap it up. You know, just want to stay up to date. You know, on what's going on. You know, anything that's worth reporting. You know, we'll get into it. But I'll play a little bit of this one, and read a couple of scriptures and we'll get out.
We don't bug you any other time. So God bless you, all the people that do support our channel. Thank you for praying for me and Adrian. We do appreciate that. So we got a lot of news tonight. We want to try to bring you up to date on so many things that are going on in the world, not only in the Middle East, but also in Ukraine. Crazy world that we live in right now. But somebody mentioned this a couple days have been going by, and we've had some kind of bank glitches. I don't know if this is all over the United States, but we've had several people report that they have had trouble doing their banking, that when they use their credit card, it is not working at the grocery store. Also, transactions are not going through. I don't know if you have had any of that in your area, but I just wanted to mention that. So let's go ahead with the news.
So you having bank glitches? Okay, all this is happening at the same time. You see, and we know what he's going to present as a solution. All roads lead to the NWO. All right, and the mandate of their CHIP, the MOTB. You know, so all these things are building up at the same time.
We got a whole sheet of news coming in. It does look like that Israel is about to launch their full-scale invasion in the Gaza Strip in about 48 hours or less. This has been announced all over the internet that they will be going into Gaza City. They're going to be going into Gaza City and try to root out the Hamas terrorists that are embedded in Gaza City. Now, will this be the entire 360,000 Israeli troops? No, it won't. I'm not sure how many troops they're going to be sending in, but it's going to be a very large force, and it's going to be door to door, building to building, and probably very bloody for both sides. Now, folks, war is not pretty. When the United States of America went into Iraq, remember Desert Storm, when George Bush announced the start of Desert Storm, we sent General Schwarzkopf to Iraq with 500,000 U.S. soldiers, and we invaded his country, and we bombed his country, and we destroyed probably, I would say, a large portion of his major cities. And then we went in with the invasion, and folks, there were over 400,000 civilian casualties during the Iraq War. The United States of America, in one way or another, we killed men, women, and children and babies. We killed 400,000 civilians, plus another 400,000 Iraqi soldiers. So altogether, it was over 1 million people that died in Iraq from the war. So, folks, there is civilian casualties. We had about 50% civilian casualties in Iraq when we went over there. But the Americans, they weren't outraged by that. We were getting revenge on those terrorists that hit the tower, supposedly. And we went into Iraq for weapons of mass destruction that Saddam Hussein said that he didn't have. And they never found it, folks. They never found any weapons of mass destruction. So we destroyed his entire country. We killed men, women, and children, 400,000 at least, men, women, and children. And they are still dying in Iraq now from the depleted uranium munitions that we use. But America was okay with that. So Israel is now catching heat all around the world. Anti-Semitism is at record highs in Europe and around the world. Everybody's hating the Jews. Everybody's hating Israel. But folks, war is hell. Remember what we did? Why didn't the world just go crazy when we were just killing men, women, and children in Iraq? They didn't go crazy, did they? 400,000, Google it, folks. I've Googled it over and over and over again. And then we went back, Desert Storm number 2, we went back again. Then we went into Libya, destroyed their country, plunged their country into a civil war, killed hundreds of thousands of people there. But nobody raised a voice about that. So there is a double standard in the world. But the Bible does say in the last days, the whole world will.
So yeah, that was it on that one. I just wanted to go and show that, there's rumors, that within 48 hours, they could invade the Gaza Strip, which that's something, we'll see. We'll be looking, I know there's like almost a half a day ahead, so we'll see how that play out. All right, well, that's the rest of the video. It's about an hour long. I got to finish watching it too, But then he spoke on, the wars that America been, the invasions, because it really ain't been no war, but the invasions that America have been doing on the Middle East and how they just been slaughtering civilians, man. And that's why the Americans, the American civilian, doesn't understand, all right, the judgment that's coming back here. Okay, because you Americans, you applaud, okay, or you just oblivious to the slaughter that the military does on these, the American military does to these other societies, man. And when you make a big fuss about standing up for the anthem, okay, this is what you're standing for. All right. But the Lord, he's a righteous judge. This is Jeremiah 50:15. It says, shout against her round about. She have given her hand. The foundations are fallen. This is speaking of America. her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done. Okay, do unto her. All right, and the Lord is going to make this place defenseless. All right, against the onslaught of these other nations, man. All right, and this is where all roads lead to, man. all ICBMs lead to America, man. Okay, and the Lord has sworn by himself. When you read Jeremiah 49:13, for I have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. Okay, and that's the end game for America, man, a perpetual waste. You know, and this is where we're at. You know, this is where we stand in prophecy. All right, and these, you know, this tension that we seeing rising in that region is going to lead to all these prophecies being fulfilled concerning war and the destruction of America, man. You know, so I say, you know, we could see some things happen. You know, some conventional warfare happen pretty soon. You know, things could die down. They could get a ceasefire. You know, that's a possibility as well. You know, so we just watching and we'll see. You know, but we know that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, it can't go back to normal. You know, everyone is pretty much showed their hands. You know, the Israelis are being condemned. You know, those gutter rats. Okay, so we know that eventually it's gonna go there. All right. So Lord will, you know, you brothers and you sisters edified. Till next time I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Baba Ball.